Hey everybody, this is Dead Winter Dead with another Battlefield 4 video for you. Today we're going to be discussing some information that was recently put out by DICE on BattleLog. It's been out for about 20 hours, maybe 24 hours. I know most of you have already heard it. Some of you may have seen it on YouTube already from some other YouTubers. Sorry I'm late to the party, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. The footage that you're looking at right now is Operation Locker. You're going to see some gameplay with various LMGs, I believe. Right now you're looking at the M60. I think I switch over to the M240 Bravo a little later on. And it's not in this footage, but I actually get kicked and banned from this server. This is a server, I think it belongs to a clan, FDJ. I'm not sure who they are, but they were decent players. But I had one of the guys on the other team. He was complaining about the LMGs and about how, you know, people who use the LMGs are noobs and blah 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 and just all this crap. So I was like, all right, you know, fine, we'll see what happens. And so I started using the LMG and just smoking this dude, and then he kicked me and banned me from the server. I'll probably post the entire match because it's good gameplay, and it gets really hectic really quick, but it's not your typical 64 player Metro meat grinder nade fest. It's actually, you know, us moving around and hunting each other down inside the dark tunnels of the Metro. But anyway, on to the news. So on BattleLog, DICE released that they are going to be addressing the quote-unquote netcode in Battlefield 4. And of course, they started off with a pre-canned message. You know, we at DICE are committed to improving the overall Battlefield multiplayer experience for our players. Blah, 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 blah. That's a PR thing. Their PR department has to kind of put out these pre-canned, like, we are committed to you, the players, yada, yada, yada. And I know most of us can kind of see through that. They're committed to their shareholders, and they're committed to making money. And if it helps the players out along the way, then of course they will be committed to that. But first and foremost, they need to be committed to a good, solid business model, simply because that is what makes them money and that is what keeps them in business. But hand in hand, a good, solid business model means that you have a reliable product on the shelves, or on, you know, in our case, on the virtual shelf. If your product is subpar, if your product is broken in any way, shape, or form, then obviously you drive customers away, which drives sales down, which drives stocks down, and that is not a reliable business model. So, the news that they put out is that they are going to be fixing issues with server-related issues that are commonly known as netcode issues. It's going to be fixing things like the glitches that we, you know, there are sometimes things in the environment that we glitch out on. I know sometimes you'll have trouble jumping over a piece of rubble, or you'll get stuck on these quote-unquote invisible walls. They're going to be looking at issues with rubber banding. They're going to be looking at issues about, you know, latency compensation, because there are some servers that compensate for latency differently, and because there are so many variables out there as far as you know, computers go, you know, speeds and internet providers, that this sometimes tends to screw things up overall. I'm sure many of you have been in game where, you know, the average ping is, you know, between 30 and 50, and then you'll have one guy who has a ping of like 300, and he's just glitching all over the place, rubber banding, or causes you to rubber band and stuff like that. So they're going to try to address things like that. Now, obviously, they can't address everyone's ping or everyone's latency, but they'll do the best that they can to fix it within the game and you know, on the servers and stuff like that. So they're going to be looking at issues that basically I don't want to get too technical. I do understand a lot of this, but I am by no means a pro. But basically the way they described it, and I'll just read it straight off of BattleLog. It says, we are working on fixing glitches in your immediate interactions with the game. The way you move and shoot, the feedback when you're hit, and the way other players' actions are shown on your screen. Now this will fix things like you know, the one-hit kill bug, or your hits not registering on other player models, or getting shot behind cover. And basically, you know, things like that. It's you know, when you get shot behind cover, it's it's less to do with the way the actual game was made and more to do with latency and the way the servers are. Now, sometimes, you know, if you get hit behind cover, you think, wow, you know, I was, you know, 5 feet beyond the edge of that wall. There's no way this guy could have shot me through that wall. But on his screen, you weren't behind the wall yet. So I know a lot of people will get accusations or say the game is broken. Well, you know, this, that, and the other, this, that, and the other, this is broken, that's broken. When a lot of it has to do with server latency or actual, you know, your client-side latency. The two machines aren't talking to each other and they're not in sync properly. Or your ping is so high that you get a lot of packet loss in the transfer of information, because you have to admit there are a lot of things going on. I mean, look at all this destruction. Every time I shoot a bullet hole in a wall, not only is that registered on my end, but it has to register on every other player's end too. They have to see that the edge of that wall is broken, or that building's front door is shattered, or the entire building came down, because we all have to be on sort of a level playing field. We all have to see the environment in the exact same way in order for this to be an enjoyable experience for everybody. So I'm just going to run down some of the bullet points that are actually on BattleLog, and if you want to look at this yourself and read it for yourself, it's on BattleLog. It's in the little news section, the little news feed that's like right smack dab in the middle of BattleLog when you log on. But they're going to be fixing and or investigating issues with rubber banding. We all know what that is. Excuse me. The kill camera delay, or the player death sync. They describe that as sometimes the kill camera would trigger before the game client displayed the last portion of damage being dealt, and that gave the player's impression that they died too early. They're going to be addressing issues with or at least investigating issues with the tick rate. Now, the tick rate, that is a term used to describe how often the server will update the game world. They're looking at trying to make it be higher in the future. They said that they don't have any immediate plans to increase the tick rate, but they're exploring possibilities of increasing it on certain servers. They're going to be looking into the issue where there is no damage registered, where we put 10 bullets down range, and on our screen we see that we're absolutely hitting somebody, but there's no damage registered as far as the other guy. You're going to be addressing the issue with the insta-death while sprinting. Apparently there are some issues while walking or sprinting where a player could get catapulted at high speed, which would cause death if you like ran into a wall. I've actually never seen this issue, but they're blaming it on a mathematical error in the character physics code. And they said that they actually have a fix ready for that. So we'll see. I've actually never seen that. And various different items dealing with levolution being out of sync, shots firing in the wrong direction, vehicles out. It says vehicles outside the infantry area not taking damage when fired at. I don't think I've ever seen that either. And apparently we're going to be seeing some of this stuff fairly soon. So hopefully in the next few months, or hopefully weeks, maybe even when Naval Strike gets pushed out, or before Naval Strike, that'd be great to have this Netcode patch out before Naval Strike, so that we can start a fresh DLC with some decent Netcode, or at least with some of the Netcode issues fixed. My only issue is that I know a lot of times you get a patch and they need a patch to fix the patch, and I'm hoping that they don't push all this stuff out and in typical DICE fashion not actually extensively test it and then break the game even more. Excuse me, that would just be terrible. And I think it would piss a lot of players off. And I think if they did that, that might spell the end, for Battlefield 4 as we know it. Excuse me, jeez, it was early in the morning here. But anyway, guys, that is the new news concerning the quote-unquote Netcode patches that we should be seeing in the future. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, pass it along. It helps me a lot. I really appreciate you guys helping grow my channel. We're still really, really small, but we're inching up slowly. Anyway, guys, my name is Dead Winter Dead. Thanks for watching.
There's your ammo. Go get it.